Hey guys, welcome to my May TBR choosing video. So the past couple of months I have been using a random number generator, and this month, we're gonna try doing a TBR jar. So I made a whole bunch of prompts here on little pink slips of paper. Oops, put that back, didn't see anything. And I have made a virtual shelf for my TBR because most of my books are either on my Kindle or I'm getting them from the library or both. So I don't have a lot of physical books. I can't go to a TBR cart and choose things. So we're gonna try this and see how it works. I'm gonna put that up on the screen now and we're gonna look at it. So I think I've got a pretty good variety of stuff here. I've got fantasy, I've got sci-fi, I've got mystery, I've got romance. Maybe there might be something I can claim as literary fiction. We'll see. But these are all the books that are on my current TBR. So I think we just get started. I'm going to pick 7 or 8 books. We're going to see how it goes. So I'm going to pick the first one. Should I just get one? What do we have? It is, I know you're not going to be able to see these. It is popular on Bookstagram. All right, so I really could have chosen anything, right? Bookstagram, TikTok, we're gonna call those the same thing. So I think then I'm gonna focus on maybe a couple options. So we could do The Will of the Many. That one has been super, super popular, I feel like, and I'm about 30% into that, so I need to continue that. There's an Abby Jiminez, Part of Your World, a little bit of a romance moment up there that I am kind of excited to try. I've seen that one on both of those platforms a lot. So I think that what we're gonna do is we're gonna choose the Abby Jiminez. So I have never read an Abby Jiminez book, so I think that one will be pretty exciting. Give me a second and I will tell you what it is about. So it says that the main character, her name is Alexis, has had her world turned upside down because of Daniel Grant, a ridiculously hot carpenter who's 10 years younger than her and as casual as they come. So she's spending time in this small town. It looks like there's a small town. And so she's trying to decide, you know, which world she really belongs in. I think that sounds really cute. I don't know anything about it beyond that. I haven't read any Abby Jiminez books, but I have heard of this one and I've seen it all over the place. So I know this is the first one in this series. So that'll be my first pick. So I'm gonna take this, set it aside, and let's do another pick. Let's see. All right, so an award-winning book. I hope that when I picked this, that I noticed that hopefully there were some award-winning books on here. Let's see if I can find any books that have won awards. I'm pretty sure A Master of Jinn won, it might have been the Nebula Award. I'll double check on that. It looks like it's going to be A Master of Jinn. So I'm pretty sure that this one is a little bit of a murder mystery fantasy, which sounds really intriguing to me. The Goodreads ratings on it are super high. I've seen a lot of people say that they really enjoy it. It's set in Cairo in 1912. The main character is working for the Ministry of Alchemy, Enchantments, and Supernatural Entities. And it looks like she is going to be solving a murder. So I have been super into the mystery fantasy category lately, and I don't think I realized that this is what that was until I just read the description. I just knew that I wanted to read a book by this author, so I am pretty excited about that. So number 2 is going to be A Master of Jinn. All right, so let's pick another one. Reach down in here, try and grab one. Okay, let's see what it is. Oh, and this one is going to be Sean's pick, which means my boyfriend is going to get to pick a book for me off of my TBR. So I'm going to pause while I go tell him that. Do you hear that, Sean? I did not do it on purpose. Okay, are you ready? No. You can do this. All right. So all you have to do is look at the books on my TBR and tell me what you think I should read. No pressure. I already picked a romance and a fantasy.
All right, so I kind of want to pick The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, just because I liked one of Becky Chambers' books, but not the other one. So I'm kind of interested to to see if I really want to like read that book or not. I also want to pick Brandon Sanderson because I think if you're trying to get through all of them before the next one comes out, you got to get moving. And I really liked A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking. So out of those three, I think I'm still going to go with the Brandon Sanderson book.
I knew you were going to do that, but it's 1,100 pages. I'm waiting for you to tell me that that should be about 2 days, right? Okay. Well, thank you, Sean. All right, your job here is done. You can go. All right, so it looks like we're going to be reading Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson, which that was fair. I do need to read it. I still have to get through 2 more after this, right? So Words of Radiance. So we're putting that in this month. So let's hope the rest of these books end up being short ones. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and draw another one. So that was 3. And in here, grab one. All right, so we got a book with yellow on the cover. Okay, so let's see. I do not see a lot of things that have yellow on the cover. Okay, so right away, we are not gonna do the next book in the Expanse if I'm reading that Brandon Sanderson, because that is super long. So what else has yellow on the cover? And how far can I stretch the definition of yellow? Okay, so let's see. So we have the in-between, that's a nonfiction about a hospice nurse that I won from my library. And I am interested in reading that. I don't know if I'm interested in reading it this month or not. Let's see, what else do we have that has yellow on it? Am I gonna count yellow writing? Yes. So we have, looks like A Strange and Stubborn Endurance has yellow text. I would say Annihilation. I don't think that's yellow. I think that's kind of like tan. And then we have The Vanished Birds, which has that yellow section of the cover up there. And then we have Someone You Can Build a Nest In, but I would say that's probably primarily red. So I don't actually think I have a lot of options that are going to be super yellow, but I think I'm going to go with The Vanished Birds by Simon Jiminez. I'm going to read the short little blurb on this one. It says, a mysterious child lands in the care of a solitary woman, changing both of their lives forever in this captivating debut of connection across space and time. So I am not going to read a lot more because I don't really want to know. I know that this is Simon Jiminez's sci-fi novel, and it was his first novel. I read The Spear Cuts Through Water a couple months ago, and it was one of my most favorite books of the entire year so far, and possibly of quite some time. So I think he's a really exceptional writer, and I have been really wanting to read this one. So I am excited. And I also legitimately, if I'm not going to be reading The Expanse, which it's off the table now because I'm reading that other long book, I think it's probably the most yellow thing on this list. So I think that worked out. So we have done 4. Okay, let's draw number 5. Okay, what do we have? We have a book with a great opening sentence. I'm gonna need a minute while I look up a couple of books and read their opening sentences. Okay, so here's the first line of 6 of Crows. We have, Juiced had 2 problems, the moon and his mustache. So I like that. That's a good opening line, right? Let me look at a couple more. So far, that is the best one that I have seen. So the first line of A Strange and Stubborn Endurance is, we'd scarcely entered Father's new lands when I realized how little I cared that I'd never inherit them. Well, that's a really intriguing opening line. How little I cared that I'd never inherit them. So I like that one too. So let me try to choose between those. Maybe it's just because I really have been dying to read it, but I think we're gonna go with 6 of Crows. So this one I am gonna be using for my fantasy bingo for 2024 for our fantasy. I am gonna be using this one for the Criminals story. So this is gonna cross one of those squares off for me too. So I am excited about that. So that was number 5. All right, 3 more. I think we're gonna pull 3 more. I think that's fair. Let's see. Let's do another. Okay, so we have young adult. And I have a couple young adult books on here. I know The Ballad of Never After is a young adult book, so that is one I could certainly read. I want to know is Inkblood's Sister Scribe a young adult? Let's see. I think A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking. Oh, and Check and Mate by Ellie Hazelwood. That's definitely a young adult. So I have those three, and I think that's it. I don't think anything else on here. That Limb Painter is an adult story. I don't think anything else is going to be young adult. Okay, so between those two, I think I'm going to choose The Ballad of Never After because I am anxious to continue that story. So I'm excited about that. I've been waiting to read it since I read the first one in January. So, okay, we're going to do two more. Let's see. Those are stuck together. Okay, so this one is a science fiction novel. All right, what do we have for a science fiction novel? So let's see. The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, Annihilation, The Space Between Worlds, that would be science fiction. Winter's Orbit, I believe, is a science fiction. So my pick for a science fiction novel is going to be Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. This is an amazing blurb. It's described as ancillary justice meets red, white, and royal blue. So basically we have an arranged marriage, a marriage of convenience, a political marriage in this science fiction world. And I am very intrigued by it. I'm intrigued by that blurb, by the two comps there, because are there any two books that are different from one another than Ancillary Justice and Red, White, and Royal Blue? I think not. So I think that one sounds very intriguing, and I'm excited to read it this month. All right, let's see if we can get one more pick from here. Let's see what we've got. Okay, so we have a 5-star prediction. So that means a book that I think will be 5 stars for me. This is kind of like a gimme one, right? Where you just read something that you really want to read. And I already know what I really want to read. And I really want to read Someone You Can Build a Nest In by John Wiswell. It's a monster romance where I believe the monster realizes that, you know, can't actually murder their loved one's family, that kind of thing. It just looks really cute. Let's go through our list. We have Someone You Can Build a Nest In. So we've got a horror, fantasy, monster, romance kind of situation. I don't know what you want to call that. We have The Vanished Birds, which is science fiction, more literary. Looking forward to that. Six of Crows, which is young adult fantasy. We have A Master of Jinn, which is fantasy. It looks like a fantasy mystery. We'll see what it is. I'm excited for that one. What else did we pick? We have Part of Your World by Amy Jiminez. So we've got a romance to break up all of the serious science fiction that looks like we've got this month. The Ballad of Never After, which is going to be a very charming sequel, I am hoping, also young adult. Winter's Orbit, which is the science fiction romance kind of situation. And I think there was one more. Oh yes, Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. So those are the 8 that I've picked here. I do have 2 other books that I am going to be reading this month. The first book that I'm going to be reading this month, I do have an ARC for. And this is When Among Crows by Veronica Roth. So this is her new fantasy novella. As you can see, it looks like it is about 160 pages. So that should go really well with my month when I'm also reading that really long Brandon Sanderson book. So it is something, so I don't really know that much about it. I know that I've never read anything from Veronica Roth except for the Divergent books. So I'm hoping that this is going to introduce me to a new side of her writing. So I am excited about it. So this is one that I definitely was really excited to read. And then the other one that I have is also an ARC from Tor, I think. This one I have on NetGalley, so I don't have a real copy of it, and it is The Brides of High Hill by Nevo. So this is the 5th book in Nevo's Singing Hills cycle. I haven't read any of them, but I am assured that you can start anywhere. They are all standalones. This one says that the Hugo Award-winning series returns with its newest standalone entry, a gothic mystery involving a crumbling estate, a mysterious bride, and an extremely murderous teapot. So that sounds really cute, and I love gothic things, and I've never read anything by this author, so that's one that I'm really excited to read early in the month so I can go ahead and review it and everything. But yeah, there's probably, you know, a couple of other things that I could sub in. It is currently, as I'm filming this, April 21st. So I have about a week and a half to finish reading all of my books for April. So I'll see if there are a few books that might end up carrying over to May for that. But so far it's been a great reading month for April, and I'm hoping that May is going to be just as amazing. I think I've got some good picks here. This was fun. I enjoyed pulling things from the jar. It was a little bit hard to think about what things might fit on the fly like that, but I really enjoyed it. So let me know what you all think. Let me know what format of TBR picking you enjoy. Am I going to get to all these books? We'll come back next month and find out. We'll see. But in the meantime, I hope that you all have a great week. Thank you for spending time with me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.